Good morning. At approximately 1:30 last night, Sergeant Greg Moore, a 16-year veteran of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, stopped a suspicious person in the area of Wilbur and Atlas Road in our city. That person was later identified as Jonathan Renfro. At some point during the encounter, Sergeant Moore was shot, and the suspect subsequently fled with Sergeant Moore's vehicle. A pursuit was initiated by members of the Post Falls Police Department, and I'll let Chief Hogue talk about that in a moment. However, my main purpose today is to update you on the status of our officer. Sergeant Greg Moore is still in critical condition. He's in extremely critical condition. He's fighting for his life at this point. I will tell you that I would hope that the citizens of this great city take pause and just to recognize and appreciate the life and the service of a 16-year veteran of our police force. And I would also tell you that for the members of the police department and for me personally, our thoughts and prayers are with the family and with Greg during this difficult time. I'll let Sergeant Hogue now, I'm sorry, Chief Hogue talk about the pursuit and the subsequent capture of Mr. Renfro, and after that I'll take a few questions.
My name is Scott Hogue, and I'm the Chief of Police with the Post Falls Police Department. And first, I want to offer our deep condolences to what is occurring here at the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Coeur d'Alene is our partners, and when they hurt, we hurt. One of our officers was on patrol at about 1:41 this morning when he was overhearing the radio traffic of what was happening in Coeur d'Alene. And as that radio traffic was coming out, he was alerted to what had occurred. He observed a Coeur d'Alene police vehicle pass his location at Celtice and McGuire at 90 miles an hour. He immediately turned around and activated his lights in pursuit of the Coeur d'Alene police vehicle, and the vehicle sped up to about 125 miles an hour as a pursuit ensued westbound on Celtice from McGuire. The Coeur d'Alene police vehicle made it to Beck Road, where it turned southbound and went to Baugh Way. Our patrol car was a little ways behind it. As our patrol car got to the intersection of Beck Road and Baugh Way, he found an empty Coeur d'Alene patrol car. He believed that the suspect had run from the scene, so our units, in conjunction with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department, the Washington State Patrol, set up a perimeter in the area. And about an hour and a half to 2 hours later, they were able to locate the suspect, Mr. Jonathan Renfro, hiding underneath of a semi-truck trailer in the dirt parking lot just west of Walmart. He was actually up in the axle area of the truck. And special thanks to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department's K-9 unit, who actually found the suspect up underneath the trailer there. He was engaged by the dog when he would not comply, and was taken into custody.
Like happens in most of these investigations, the Coeur d'Alene Police Department is working hand in hand with our partners here in North Idaho. The lead investigating agency for the officer's injury and the incident will be the Idaho State Police. At this point, Mr. Renfro has been booked into the Kootenai County Jail, and with that, I'll take any questions you guys have.
Do you know anything about Mr. Renfro at this time? Does he have a criminal history?
We can provide that a little bit later. He does have a criminal history. I will tell you that at least the preliminary information I got was that he was on felony probation and parole. I don't know for what crimes in particular, but I'm sure we can get that information for you later this afternoon.
We know that the officer is in critical condition this morning. Can you describe the type of injuries?
I'm going to leave that to the medical staff. I would just tell you that it appears that he was shot once by the suspect.
Do you know the weapon of choice?
I do not.
Do you have any preliminary motive at this hour?
I do not. This investigation's unfolding. It's probably going to take a while. As you guys can imagine, we're only 5 hours into this. Really, most of our efforts at this point have been for the officer and his family and the other members of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. But I've got to say a heartfelt thank you to the other partners in law enforcement that we have here throughout the region that have done a fantastic job to help us through the investigation and the apprehension of the suspect.
What do we know about? The suspect stole the officer's car once the shooting occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
What do we know about how Sergeant Moore came into contact with Mr. Renfro?
We don't know a lot of information about that. We just know that he checked off with a suspicious individual in the area that I described earlier. At some point, he gave Mr. Renfro's information to our dispatch center, the Kootenai County Dispatch Center, to run him for wants and warrants. And then at some point after that, Sergeant Moore was struck at least once by gunfire.
How did that call then come through? Was that from the officer, or had they already sent officers to the scene?
I will tell you that the dispatch did a fantastic job doing a welfare check on our officer to make sure he was okay. But at the same time, we did receive a call from, and I don't know if it was a 911 call or a regular call, from a resident in the area who had heard a noise that sounded like a gunshot, and then they shortly after said that there was a body lying on the street.
I know it's early in your investigation, but is there any preliminary motive?
No,
for
ma'am.
the actual firing of a weapon?
I don't have that information, ma'am.
Folks who live in this area, are there any other neighborhoods or streets that they cannot drive on this morning? Things you want people to know?
You know, as far as I'm aware, just the area where the suspect was apprehended and where our patrol car ended up, and then the immediate area surrounding Wilbur and Atlas. Beyond that, the traffic should be fine. Though I would tell you that the area around Wilbur and Atlas, I would assume, will be closed for some time, though I would expect for most of the day.
As will the intersection of Interstate 90 and Beck Road will be closed throughout most of the day today as well.
There has been a lot of conversation in the media, particularly recently, about officers and suspects and the unease of, the atmosphere around the country currently. What would you say to other officers to maybe put their minds at ease this morning in terms of, brotherhood, a sisterhood of officers standing together in a time like this?
You know, I would tell you that from the information I've received so far, this doesn't look like it was an ambush-style attack or anything else. This was just a bad guy doing bad guy stuff, and our officers doing what they were trained to do, and that's to try to keep our community safe. As it turns out, one of our officers is, well, he was injured doing his job.
You said Sergeant Moore, 16-year veteran on the force. Is that the whole time with Kootenai Police?
With our department, yes, ma'am.
Is that a picture of the suspect on the table?
This is.
Can you hold it up for us?
I'll set it on the table over here after the interview.
You said that he had a felony probation out. Do you know the extent of any of his previous crimes, or is it still too early?
No, like I said, we'll give that information out a little bit later on this today. The only information I had was that he was currently on felony probation or parole. I'm not sure which.
Thank you.
Just so we're clear, is there a spelling on Mr. Renfro's name?
R-E-N-F-R-O. We'll provide that details afterwards. Anything else for us? Once again, then, from me, and I will tell you also from Mayor Widmeyer and from our Administrator Jim Hammond and all of our council, our thoughts and prayers are with the men and women in uniform, not only from our city, but from all our surrounding agencies, and especially with Greg Moore and his family.